Hi. The first time we talked earlier in the season, you kind of discussed the importance of recognizing that you are more than just a hockey player. You're also a normal person outside of this. As the season's gone on, have you found it easier to still separate that, or was it a struggle in a weird season like this?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that for me?
Yeah, no, it's fine. When we discussed earlier in the season about the importance of separating, hockey from your normal life, that you're not just a hockey player.
Right.
As the season's gone on, do you feel like you've been able to successfully separate those two? Or with this compacted season, did it make it a little bit harder?
Oh, um, yeah. I mean, that's not going to change. Hockey is just it's a sport that we play. It's our job, but it's not going to change really. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. And then how would you kind of just assess the season for you? Yeah, I know you wanted to get up to Grand Rapids and stay there, but you came down a few times back and forth.
Mhm. Um, I think the season it was a good learning point in my career. Starting off pretty early. I was lucky enough to get some NHL time and to develop my game a little bit more in like certain areas on of the game that makes a difference between like AHL play and NHL play. Um, and just with the whole like going back and forth, I think for me to go through that, it was good for me mentally. It's really like it's really a grind. Really, so it's nice to work for things and not just have it just given.
Yeah. And then one final one for me, going into these next two games against Cleveland, what are kind of your goals other than obviously winning and start ending the season strong? But what are some of your other goals?
For the last two games, I'm going to try to finish strong because we have a lot of time to sit on this. So next camp, so give it my all, and then just hope for the best.
Next up, Helene St James from the Detroit Free Press.
Hi, Givani. How are you?
I'm good.
What kind of strides do you feel, improvements do you feel you made this season compared to last?
Um, I think the biggest improvements from last year till this year was um, being able to keep plays going and just to recognize like the areas on the ice and like where I am with the puck and body position. So I'm not taking as many penalties and things like that. But there's also a lot of things that I just improved on mentally as well, just growing as a player from this year.
Can you elaborate a little bit on that? Like, what do you like? In what way mentally do you feel you've improved?
Just mentally, just getting tougher and stronger. Um, to revert back to my play, I think my skating has improved. I think and just overall making more plays in the offensive zone.
What kind of feedback did you get while you were in Detroit from the coaching staff there?
It was good feedback. We still have a couple more games before I have the year-end meeting, but for the most part, it was good stuff.
And lastly, how excited are you just looking even as far ahead as to next season, trying to establish that you should be in the lineup as a regular in Detroit?
Yeah, I'm very excited, but as a lot of guys come in, new people come in every year, so I'm excited, nervous, and also ready to work hard to get that spot, get that job.
Thanks so much, Giovanni.
Thank you.
Next up, Max Fultman from The Athletic.
Hey, Givani, staying on that topic, is there one or two things that you kind of have circled going into this off season as, the one or two things of your game you want to emphasize the most, I guess, to work on?
Yeah, I do. I have a couple things that high on my list to I think that will improve me for next season, get me ultimately prepared.
What would those be?
For me, it would be to be a little quicker, get a little more quicker with my skating, and also to just to navigate the corners a little bit better and to making just the right plays in the offensive zone just to keep things going. And then yeah, got a couple things in mind.
And then were there any teammates here in GR who stood out to you as making, big strides throughout this season to you?
Yeah, there's been a lot. We just got Joe back, and Joe's been good. He's been strong. Happy for him. Also, another young guy actually is Kaden. He just walked by, but Kaden as well. He's been showing lots of strides from his journey and where he had to come from and where he is now. So it's nice to see. And then McIsaac as well just came back off of a couple unfortunate injuries, but you can see it in his face and in his play that he's got the skill and the brain to really go far in this league and also in this sport.
Great. And then just to clarify, so you have not had your exit meeting yet in Detroit yet?
No,
Okay, great. Thanks, Givani.
thanks.
Ted Colfin from the Detroit News. Ted, you're on mute.
Sorry about that, guys. You figured this time of year I'd probably get used to it. Hey, Givani, how different of a season was this season? Just all those, the restrictions and everything. Was it was it tougher than you expected, or was it just kind of a weird season all the way around?
Definitely interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely interesting season. But looking back at this, I would say 4 months ago, if we could have any side of hockey being played, we would take whatever what we could get. So it's interesting, but we should be, and myself, I'm pretty lucky to even be playing this year through COVID.
What made it interesting? I mean, was there any part of it that made it was a little bit more tougher than anything else?
Besides getting the swab up your nose every day, it's probably one of the toughest things, and not being able to really to coerce with your teammates and outside the arena as much to build a better bond. It's probably one of the biggest things.
Sounds good. We pretty, I mean, but you were relieved that you guys were able to get this season done and get some hockey in, right? It seems like that's the bottom line with a lot of guys.
Yeah. I remember sitting at home. It was like itching to get back to playing and going on the ice and scoring goals or being in a fight or just skating down the ice, really. So it was nice that we had these 4 months or 3 months in Grand Rapids to play.
Sounds good. Hey, thanks for this, Givani.
Thank you.
Steve Kaminsky from MLive.
Good morning, Givani. Hey, just a quick question. I was wondering, no playoffs this year, the way it's formatted. Just wondering how, I don't know, is that frustrating, disappointing? How does it affect your motivation in these final games? What's that like to have not that carrot at the end of the season to go for?
It's pretty weird. Normally around this time is like you're really looking forward to being in the playoff spot and trying to play for something pretty meaningful. And you can just tell when it's playoffs, like everything around you changes, everyone changes, their mentality changes. And to not have that this year, it's a little unfortunate, but we'll come back next year and then hopefully we get to taste that.
Thank you.
Hi. Really quick, just kind of tell me what it was like to earn that shutout the other night.
It was good. I definitely didn't think it was going to come kind of so early in my AHL career. That's for sure. I know a lot of guys wait a lot of time for that moment, but I think just having the guys probably more excited in the room for me. Pix was pretty excited for me. All those guys, and then the guys like Sebs was really fired up for me. So just kind of the way they played in the third period, it made the game really easy on me, and the guys played so well for me and so well in front of me that it was just a special moment.
Yeah, and then when we first talked after your first game, you had said that you felt comfortable playing more games, and here you were, you've played a few more games, and the team has really rallied behind you. What does it mean to you to have the team rally behind you so fast?
It's good. It's we got a really tight knit group in here, and it's kind of nice knowing that whether it's me or one of the other three guys in the pipes that they're going to come out flying, and they're going to come out hard in front of you. And I think it really just speaks on our locker room that we have here, and the group of guys that we have here, that it doesn't really matter who we have in net or who we have in the lineup. Everybody's hungry, and everybody's playing for the guy next to them.
Yeah, and then just really quick, one final one for me. How would you kind of assess how your season went since you came back from injury and with finishing strong coming in these next 2 days?
It's been good. I think especially right now, just going out and just playing the game. I think it's you never knew coming back from something like hip surgery if you're ever gonna be able to play the game the same way, or even be able to play the game again at all. Some guys don't come back from that well, but I feel blessed and I feel very lucky just to be able to play the game I love and be able to be in the locker room with the guys. And I know the work I put in Detroit in the summer, and just kind of always falling back on that and knowing that I put the work in and that it's just time to go play hockey has really helped my game.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Max Fultman from The Athletic.
Hey, Caden, I just wanted to ask you about what the last couple of years have been like. Obviously, until this recent stretch, not a ton of games in that stretch for you. How did you handle that? And I guess how did you stay ready to be back in net after such a long time off?
Yeah, it's been tough definitely the last couple of years with COVID, with injuries, but just always keeping a goal in mind and taking it one step at a time. When I went down with an injury and I lost my whole year last year, and then this year was kind of a weird year, being up and down and not seeing a lot of ice time, just kind of making sure that every time I hit the ice that I was lucky to be out there, and every time I hit the ice just to get even just 1% better at my game. Every time I hit the ice, I'm a big believer, and this is another opportunity, whether it's morning skate or a practice lead after the day after a game, that anytime you're on the ice, that it's an opportunity to get better. And I really took that and ran with it this year, and it's paid off for me.
And then obviously still very young, not a ton of goalies get to play their NHL debut before they get their feet under them in the AHL first. What do you think this offseason holds for you and into next year?
I think it's a big off season. I'm definitely looking forward to coming back to Detroit this summer and put in work with a couple gyms in the area and be on the ice. But I'm really excited for this off season. It's been kind of a long year. Bouncing up and down, and a lot of the guys that played down here will probably tell you the same, that it's been a long year. It's been a crazy year. It's been a lot different from what we're used to, but just taking a couple of weeks to let the body recover and getting after it hard this summer to kind of hit the ground running again next year.
Thanks, Caden.
Thank you.
Hey, Donovan, after having some time now here to really get the feel for the league, what have your impressions been of adjusting to this level and playing at this level? What kind of impact do you feel you've been able to make?
Yeah, I think when you're kind of moving up in any level, I mean, the speed is the one thing you kind of notice, but I mean, it's just bigger guys, better players. So I mean, took a couple of games to get your feet under you, but I mean, I've just kind of been trying to play a simple physical game, kind of bring that day in, day out, and just kind of going from there. But definitely the speed is the one thing I've noticed from moving up.
When you're taking a step from, junior hockey to pro, are you being maybe a little more, you mentioned simple hockey, like, are you trying to kind of consciously be more cautious, not try to do too much too soon, or are you just trying to, let it rip, I guess?
Yeah, I try not to think about kind of over. Yeah, just try not to overthink it. I mean, when the play is there, just make a simple play, not over handling pucks. But I wouldn't say that I'm kind of going into games thinking about not overcomplicating things. But I mean, I'm just trying to play a simple game, just snap pucks, just do what I can, just read off my first instinct and go with that.
So I think the rules is that you have to have another year in the OHL before you normally would be eligible even to play in the American League. Have you heard anything about where that rule stands for next year? Like, are you expecting to kind of go and do a full season in Kitchener if you're not in Detroit next year? Or do you know anything about that?
Yeah, I really don't know what's going to happen. I haven't heard anything about that rule, but I don't know. I'm just expecting to. I don't really know where I'll play next year, if it's the OHL or if I get to play here again. But I'm just gonna prepare for regular season, no matter where it is.
Thanks, Donovan.
Yeah.
Ted Colfin, Detroit News.
Hey, Don, how weird was it? I mean, as kind of a young guy in that room, has it been kind of strange sometimes, or you've just soaked up a lot of the knowledge around there and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, you come in kind of younger, kind of a little intimidated, but I mean, you just kind of soak in kind of what the older guys are talking about, just kind of just listening to what they say, and even just watching what they do, how they prepare for practices, they prepare for games. It's just kind of, I've just been soaking it all in, just taking it day by day.
I mean, did you have some reservations when you started the season? It's like, man, I mean, it's a pro league, and yeah, like you said, older guys who've been around for a while. Was there some butterflies? It's like, man, it's a pretty big step.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely had some nerves going into it, but I mean, I looked at it like this is an opportunity that I wouldn't have gotten in any other year. So I just kind of took it at what it is. And yeah, there's going to be some nerves, but I really wanted to capitalize on this opportunity.
And how much did it help you? I mean, it seems like you're a much better player today than you were several months ago, just naturally because of this.
Yeah, I think this opportunity has really helped me kind of develop as a person and a player. So I mean, I'm thankful for the opportunity and kind of just to be here. So I think I've definitely benefited from being here for the last couple of months.
Sounds good. Thanks for this, Donovan.
Yeah.
Elaine Shercliffe, Full Press Hockey.
Hi. So with being the new guy, it's kind of hard to craft that camaraderie off the ice when you can't see each other that much this season. How did you guys go about doing that this season to kind of to kind of help you assimilate into the team a little bit better?
Yeah, I think it's difficult. I mean, most years you go out for lunch or you go out, you kind of just go out or outside of the rink. You see each other pretty much every day outside of the rink. But I mean, this is kind of difficult. So you just kind of really kind of when you're in the rink, you really kind of take the time to talk to people, sit down, have a good conversation. But I mean, it's definitely hard. I mean, the guys try our best to kind of keep in touch and stuff when we're at the rink, but it's definitely been a lot tougher than a normal year to kind of be close and kind of see each other.
And then with 2 games left in the season, what are your goals for those 2 games other than obviously winning?
Yeah, I think winning's obviously number one. I want to end on a good note here, but I mean, I haven't scored my first yet. Wouldn't mind get my first in the last 2, but I mean, it's not something I'm focusing on. I just want to end on a good last note here, the last 2 games with a win.
Great, thank you.
Steve Kaminsky from MLive.
Good morning, Donovan. No playoffs this year by the NHL, AHL. It'll be coming to end Saturday. Your opinion, do you think the AHL could have gone ahead with the playoff format, and would you have been comfortable moving on after with the playoff if they had decided to do that?
Yeah, it's not really my call. I don't know if they could have done a playoffs or what kind of could have happened with that. But I mean, if it was to happen, I mean, great. If it's not, then like it is now, let's, like I said, let's finish these 2 games on a good note. But I mean, it's not really my spot to say anything about that.
Thank you.
Hi, Joe. Just reflect a little bit back on the 5 games you played with the Wings. What can you take away from that going into the summer as far as what you need to work on?
Just the experience and confidence. Obviously, I got to play some pretty good minutes over there, and was trusted in all areas of the ice. So my confidence was it definitely boosted a lot of my confidence, and now I know I've got a little bit of a taste of it, of how those NHL games are, and what to bring to the table day in and day out. So it was just good to have that experience, and obviously this off season I'm going to continue what I did last year, and be in the gym and kind of work on my craft on the ice, and keep getting stronger in the gym. So nothing really drastically going to change, but I'm going to make sure to work hard and kind of do what I did last summer. I thought I improved in a lot of areas of my game, and really developed into my body and got stronger. So I'm just going to continue doing that.
I'm curious. Bobby Ryan said he made a point of watching your debut. Did he say anything to you after your first game or any of the games at all?
Yeah, he sent me a nice message, just kind of saying, I look good out there, and keep doing what I'm doing. I guess the production level is going to come, or a point or two will come eventually if I keep doing the right thing. So it was nice of him to kind of send me that message, and felt really good about it, and kept in consideration in what he said, and kind of just stuck to my game, and it just resulted in a good opportunity where I was able to score on a power play, and got that opportunity. And I guess that's it.
Last thing from me, but how high is your confidence going into next season? And I know that's a ways off, but that you can, claim a spot as a regular just based on how much stronger you are and what a good season you've had this year between Sweden and North America.
Yeah, I think confidence is going to be huge going into next year. I guess the whole part of hockey and how you be successful is playing with confidence, and I think that's what I'm gonna have to do next year going into camp, and fighting for a spot. Just kind of playing my game, and playing with confidence, and being hard on pucks and winning battles, and being physical. I guess in pretty much what I was doing. At the start when I first started with Detroit, my first couple games there, and I think if I do those things on a more consistent basis, then I think my chances will be good on having an opening night roster.
Thanks so much, Joe.
Yep.
Ted Colfin, Detroit News.
Hey, Joe, are you kind of looking forward to this off season now? I mean, just you've had a whirlwind of a season here going all over the place like that. I mean, are you kind of looking forward just to get some time off that way?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's been quite a year, and a lot of traveling, a lot of hotels. So I'm excited to kind of go back home and see my family, see my friends. Haven't seen them since start of October. So it'll be nice to kind of spend some time with them and to see their faces. And but there's still another 2 games here that I got to focus on. We can't really check out too early right now. But I'm definitely excited to be going back home and see my family and friends.
Hey, ultimately though, did you reach your goals this season? I mean, you did get to the NHL, you played some games there, played well. Was this a pretty successful season for you think?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's been quite a few ups and downs over in Sweden, obviously. Times weren't the greatest over there personally, and I think for our team we struggled a little bit, but it was good experience. I was happy with playing in Malmo. I was really fortunate that they were able to bring me in for the season, and the staff and general manager and the players were very welcoming to me and made me feel comfortable over there. And then I guess my goal coming back was to play for the Red Wings and suit up for my first NHL game, which I did, and really fortunate and grateful for that. And obviously just scoring a goal would probably gave it a little bit of a bonus, but that was also a huge accomplishment, and felt really proud about myself. And so it's been quite a season, 3 leagues in 1 year. I don't think you see that too often, but it's been quite a year.
I'm curious, did you stay in touch with Alexis at all during the season? Or I remember you said you guys maintained a pretty good friendship from the last couple of years. I mean, did you text or call or anything like that?
Yeah, we texted I think 2 or 3 times this year. I obviously congratulated him when he had scored his first NHL goal, and I was texting him a little bit there. And my dad is pretty close with his father too. They built a pretty good relationship at the World Junior Tournament, and so they always keep in touch back home and talk about each other. So yeah, when we see each other maybe in the summer, this summer, I will definitely catch up a bit more.
All right. So you guys didn't really like talk about what was, what was it like being in the NHL and how tough it was or anything like that yet?
No, not that much. No.
Yeah. I appreciate it. Thanks for this, Joe.
Yeah, no problem.
Max Fultman, The Athletic.
Hey, Joe. So is your plan to be up in Montreal for the whole off season then, or do you plan to spend any time around here? I know some guys go to the Barwis gym a lot together around here.
No, I think I'll be spending most of my time in Montreal. I'll probably make my way over here towards the end of the summer and maybe 2 weeks before training camp. But I was really happy with how things were in Montreal. I got a good setup back home, and I like spending time with my family and friends. Just that just because I don't see them so much throughout the year. I like to be home and do my things there. But I'm really happy with the setup I have there. So I'm only going to make my way over here probably 2 weeks before training camp.
And then was there anything about kind of the NHL game that you saw in your 5 or 6 games or whatever it was that you think will kind of really inform what you do this offseason? Anything that you don't think you would have known to emphasize or focus on before getting into that game that maybe now you do?
I mean, not so much. I think I've made myself ready for that opportunity, and I think I know what to have expected when I first suited up for my first NHL game. My full year in the AHL helped me a lot, and this year in Sweden helped me a lot. So I knew that I was going to be ready for that opportunity. But I think just physically winning battles is really important. It's just the whole game is about one-on-one battles and winning your battles. And I think if you do that, you'll be really successful. But obviously, the speed, the strength, and just the pace of the game is a lot quicker. It's a lot faster. So I think I just got to keep up doing those things and getting better at realizing those things. And I think I'll be good.
And so you have not had your exit interview meeting, I assume, yet?
No.
Okay.
Not yet.
All right. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah.
Hey, Jared, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Hey, I noticed you weren't in the lineup last night. How are you feeling? What's going on there?
Yeah, no, I just took a little bump the other night. Just a little sprain on my AC joint. Nothing serious. No surgeries required. So just short term.
How has it been for you since getting back in? What's it felt like? Have you felt kind of fully confident? I know you were on the shorter end of the timeline that they gave, which I assume is good, but
Yeah, no, I felt really confident, especially the last four or five games, especially just making plays and skating and defending. Getting back to what I do really well, and I think I did that towards the end. Didn't really know what to expect, obviously, with change of pace of the game and physicality wise. But my shoulders felt great, body felt great. Yeah, I felt good overall.
mentally, what was that recovery process like? I think you went through you had a similar surgery a year ago. Was it kind of, okay, I know how this goes, or was it more like, oh God, this again?
Yeah, I mean, mentally draining. The word, best describable at the start. Here we go again. Same ordeal. But I mean, the resources were put in front of me. I, did as much as I could to stay positive. And the guys, being around the team helped a lot too, watching games Last year I was in Detroit rehabbing, so I wasn't with my junior team. I was just rehabbing in Detroit. So this year a little bit easier going around, knowing what was in front of me. A little bit smoother this time.
Where do you feel your game's at right now? I mean, I'm sure after that much time away over the last 2 years, it may be tough to get fully back in the swing, but where would you say you're at right now?
Yeah, I feel like I didn't miss a whole lot as far as my game goes. Being on the ice as much as possible with the skills coaches here and watching as much video as possible and being around the team watching the game. I felt like I jumped in, pretty well and contributed on both sides of the puck. Obviously, a little bit. You have those moments here and there where you haven't been, playing for a while. You make a couple mistakes, but my game's just it's a simple defensive game. Move pucks, skate, defend close plays early and contribute offensively as much as possible. And I thought for the most part I did a really good job of that. For those 10 games that I got.
Any feedback that you've gotten from whether it be Sean Horkoff or any of the Red Wings brass or just the coaching staff here?
No, I think just for the most part, it was just sticking with it. My game was, coming along there pretty well. Takes time, obviously, being out for a full year and back-to-back, almost back-to-back years. So, just trying to get as many games as I could this year. And, played more than I thought I was going to with our schedule with the COVID stuff, backing up a couple games. So that was fortunate for that. And, I didn't expect to play, 10 games. When I had surgery, I think we were hoping for around 5 or 6. So, that's a bonus.
So do you think you'll play one of these last two, or you think that you're going to kind of shut it down now and just get ready for next year?
Yeah, I think just going to shut it down and get ready for next year. I haven't had a full summer, past 2 summers actually, work on my upper body. I've been rehabbing both summers. So, it's a big summer for that. It's a big summer in general, preparing for next year.
Thanks, Jared.
Thanks.
Ted Colfin, Detroit News.
Hey, Jared, this is kind of follow up to Max's question, but it's like, did you ever why me? Or, I mean, was there any those type of moments? It's like, why is this happening to me and stuff?
Yeah, for sure. The other night it was, it's like on top of one another. It is what it is. Control what I can control. And, that's, putting on some massive summer upper body and really dialing that in and making sure that I'm ready for camp next year. That's the biggest thing. Like I said, it's tough, obviously, back-to-back surgeries and then a little knock up like this, but I'll take this time to get stronger. And given that I haven't had a summer to do that in a while, so I'm looking forward to that.
Was there any low points or anything? It's like, man, I don't even know if I want to go through this again, or just really big time disappointment or anything like that.
I mean, it sucks, obviously, back to back, and then a little something like this, especially when my game was starting to come around. But, I think there's light at the end of the tunnel. Both my shoulders are repaired now, and this is short term, so I'm not too worried about it. I mean, like I said, it sucks, but, just preparing for next year.
Like you said, it probably doesn't set you back as a player yet. I mean, it's not like, you're young enough to, you've missed a lot of ice time, but you can still catch up, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so for sure. Like I said, I felt like my game was pretty solid for missing, that amount of time back-to-back years. And, I thought I stepped in, I played pretty well, physically as much as possible. And, like I said, the mental side of it, you make a couple errors here and there. That's just, it comes with time and playing more games. But I thought I jumped in, and handled myself really well.
The last one, does this make you value it, the hockey and everything, that much more now that you miss, what it's like when you miss a lot of time? I mean, do you value the games and just everything else that much more?
Yeah, when you're doing this for, you love to play the game, and then it ends up becoming a job now. I know I'm only 21, but it is a job now, and it's like I said, it sucks, and you definitely put more emphasis on it. And this summer there's gonna be a lot of emphasis on getting stronger, and making sure that I'm ready for an 80 game season or whatever it is.
Sounds good. Thanks for this, Jared.
For
Hey, Ben, I wanted to ask you a couple questions about Jared McIsaac and what you saw out of him. I know probably 10 games, maybe more than you expected coming into the year, but ending a little soon. What did you think of him when he was in there?
Well, I thought Mac, first of all, I thought he showed great resolve in his commitment to getting back to play and rehabbing. I mean, it was a tough, long road with just to put himself back in the conversation to get back healthy. And again, anytime you sat out that long, you start to get your feet underneath you. You're put in situations you haven't been in before. So it was a little bit of a, growing curve for him. And then, he's injured recently. So, it was good for him to get back and have an experience of the American League, so that he could take these experiences, whether it was 5 games, 10 games, small sample size, but at least moving forward next year, he knows what he's getting into in terms of, the playing in other buildings, playing against bigger, stronger, older players. The travel's been tough this year, so he had a sample of that. So I think all those experiences will, whether it was short or not, will be beneficial moving forward next year for him.
Like, what do you do in terms of like evaluating or feedback for him, for a guy in that situation where, he was on the early end of his rehab timeline to begin with? Like, how do you kind of judge what you're seeing and what you're communicating to him in those circumstances?
Well, I mean, his first couple games, I thought he was fantastic. I think a little bit running on adrenaline, the excitement, kind of you can see finally just the relief of, oh, I get to play games. So I think he was just happy to play games. So you could see that look of relief. He just went in, played hockey, instead of just going in, getting bag skated, treatment, lifting. I thought that you just saw the relief if he finally got to play a game or two. And I thought his first 2 games back was great. And then again, having not played that long in quite a while, playing a ton of games in a short amount of time, it can catch up to you. So, I think that he did show, glimpses of what he is, two-way guy that can contribute offensively. Things happen a little bit quicker at this level. So again, the more you're put in those situations, the better served you're going to be in the future. And we tried to put him in those situations, PP, PK. Hopefully he'll take those experiences and be better for him next season. But I thought that we did see glimpses of what he is, what he could be. He's got a bright future. He's just got to find a way to stay healthy.
What would be the top couple items on kind of your off-season wish list or to-do list for him beyond just, staying healthy?
Well, I think getting stronger, and I think his skating, just getting a little bit quicker, the acceleration, the separation speed, and just getting stronger. I think when you get stronger, I just think going into battles in the corners, you're going to have a little bit more confidence if you are stronger and have that extra corner weight.
And then real quick on Chase Pearson, I know he didn't play the last couple of days, but, numbers wise, the season looked like a real step forward for him. Did the eye test match that, I guess?
Yeah, I thought Chase this season took a big step forward. He's progressing, developing nicely. We used a net front on the power play. I thought he was very effective. Chase, he listens, he learns. He applies what we try and teach him. I think his skating's improved. I think that his confidence with the puck has improved, and I think his play away from the puck defensively has been steady, if not improved as well. So, one thing that he needs to improve upon is just making sure he's more assertive with the puck and using that size and frame to play with a little bit more jam more consistently. I mean, we've seen that in flashes, but I just think more consistently. And we've talked to him. It's no secret to him just being harder more consistently.
Is he? I mean, I know he's not one of the guys who got call-ups during the year, but is he a guy who you could see pushing for, whether it be in training camp or sometime next year, pushing to get an opportunity like that?
Yeah, well, I've got time for Chase Pearson. He works his tail off. He's a team guy. He does all the little things that you can ask. So he's going to put himself. I think he took some strides this year. This summer is big for him, and I think that he is a type of kid that you're not going to be surprised if he comes in and turns some more heads and puts himself in the conversation for next year. So, it's a big summer for him to make sure that he builds upon what he did this year and make sure he comes into camp ready to go.
Thanks very much, Ben.
Sure, Max.
Helene St. James.
Hi, Ben. I know you've only
Hi.
seen him a couple games, but what growth have you seen in Joe?
JoJo, he looks bigger. I mean, off the ice, he looks bigger. He is bigger. He's stronger. The 2 games that he's played here, he's playing with confidence. He's coming in. I think his experiences over in Europe, it's helped him mature, not only as a hockey player, but as a person. He's got a little bit more of a presence about him. That confidence, I think, is translating and correlating on the ice. So, again, he's a high-end player. He can make plays. He's got confidence to make plays. But again, his play away from the puck. He's a pretty smart kid. He's a pretty smart hockey player. So, he puts himself in good spots. And at the end of the day, I think he competes hard. He went over to Europe to focus on his 200-foot game, and I thought last year. He's learning the pro game. He was young. I just think his maturity, both physically and mentally, has transferred to more confidence. And he's another kid with a tremendous future ahead of him. And he's going to come into camp next year with the mentality that he wants to make that opening day roster in Detroit. So he's got to make sure that he has a great summer, continues on the progress that he's making, and make sure that he's staying on the uptick with the development path here.
One of the things we often talk about with young players is, holding their own against much more experienced pro players. Is that an area where you've seen, and again, I know it's only been a couple of games, but, where he just seems more able to do that?
Well, again, it comes with size and strength, maturity, experiences. And I think going over to Sweden, playing in a men's league, was beneficial to him. I think last year playing against some of the competition last year benefited him. And again, you draw on those experiences, and he's just a more mature kid in every aspect. So he is holding his own. He is more confident. He's a better hockey player than he was a year ago.
Thanks so much.
Elaine Shercliffe.
Last night you mentioned that you would go into battle with those players any day of the week. Can you take a moment to kind of expand on the type of guys you have in the locker room and what makes this season a little bit more special?
Well, it's hard to. This year was just really different. It was, with all the protocols and the parameters set in place and all the hoops we had to jump through just to make this season happen. You had to have a group of guys that had that commitment to being all in. And, we asked them not to socialize, not to go out to restaurants. It was pretty much to the rink and back, the sacrifices that their families made. So the fact that, they're kind of their happy place was here at the rink. And the, 2-3 hours that we were here, I just felt this year, this group of guys, I think because of that, it just led to a lot of healthy competition. These guys pushed each other every day. And, we may not be, we've got some talented players on this team, but I liked our competitive nature every game. I liked our competitive nature every practice. I liked, for the most part, our resolve as a group, our growth as a team throughout the season. I thought from day one to where we are right now, I thought as a group, as individuals, I think everyone has improved. I think that, I just think the guys really genuinely cared for each other this year and had fun doing it. I think that healthy competition, it was reflected in games. It was reflected in our record. And, we had you're going to have a couple off nights, but I thought all in all, on a consistent basis, this is one of the most competitive groups that we had.
Yeah. And then if you could just really quick talk about Caden Fulcher and what he brought to the goalie dynamic this season.
Well, again, Fulch hadn't played a ton of hockey in the last few years, and for him to come in, put himself in the conversation to stay relevant. It was a big year for him, and he worked his tail off to get back and playing games, and I think that he's done a really good job. Again, he's a kid that comes in, he watches a ton of video, he wants to get better, and the guy, he's a kid that you root for because he's a very likable guy. He's a pretty genuine, pretty simple guy that's he's pretty carefree, and the guys like to play for him. So he's got a good personality that's the guy, he's a team guy. So credit to him for putting himself back into contention here. And he played, not sure how many games he's played, 6 games. You guys would know better than me, but he's, for not playing a lot of hockey, he's come in and done a good job.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure.
Next up is Ted Colfin.
And just piggybacking off that question, how satisfying is it to get this season, get it finally done after all the challenges? And how important was it for you guys to get this season, underway and done? I mean, all that sitting around, that must have been kind of frustrating, and it would have been tough on all these young players, obviously, in their development and whatnot.
Yeah, well, the fact that we had the opportunity to do our jobs this year, to play, I think, first of all, we're grateful, we're thankful to the Griffins, to Detroit, the Voss, Van Andel, Illich family, the managements on both sides of the Griffins and Detroit. But it took a lot of time and effort and commitment and a lot of behind the scenes stuff from a lot of people that probably don't get enough thanks. And to be able to get through these games, we were originally scheduled for 30 games, and our goal is to have as little number of these games canceled to COVID. And in fact, we've actually added to the 30 that were originally scheduled here. So I think the guys did a tremendous job of not putting themselves in spots to help mitigate the exposure to this virus. And in saying that, the development that happened over the past 5 months, I think, was beneficial not only for individuals, but just as the organization moving forward. I think some guys got a lot of key experiences, showed tremendous growth in their games. And I'd like to think that we're walking out of here from the beginning of January, in the middle of May here, that we're walking out of here as better hockey players and had a good experience and grew as a group.
Flash always talks about valuing time on the NHL and pro hockey. I'm sure you guys kind of feel the same way now too, after just going through these last few months, just value what you guys had and whatnot.
I think it does put a little bit higher appreciation of what you get to do. And when, the season was canceled last April we sat there for 8 months, not knowing if we were going to play. And, we had 32 games this year. And I think the guys valued those 32 games. And I think it gave them a better appreciation for their craft. And, some guys, this was a great year. There were no playoffs. It's tough to stay focused towards the end of the year, but I think that these guys realize that, they've got an opportunity to develop as players, to potentially play your way. There were different categories. Are you in the American League? This is an opportunity this season for you to prove that you deserve to be in the NHL, to prove that you're in the wrong league. If this is a player that maybe was a bubble player, ECHL, AHL player, this is an opportunity this year to prove that you belong in the American League. So if you're not going to be back in this organization, you've got a chance. You got 32 games to prove yourself to the other NHL teams in the building. So there are a lot of people watching. There's a lot of scouting, albeit maybe virtual or on video. But I think the onus was on the appreciation, the opportunity to continue to grow and develop as a player. And again, I can't thank the people that made this season happen enough, because I think it would have been terrible for everyone involved had we not had a season. And I know it was a huge emotional and a huge, probably even bigger financial investment to make this happen. So we're grateful for that.
Good stuff. Thanks for this, Ben.
Sure.
Steve Kaminsky.
Yeah, Ben, you just touched on it. I wanted to ask what the last week or so has been like without that playoff motivation that you normally have this time of year. It does sound like you guys, though, have been able to find ways to stay motivated.
It is tough, but yeah, I think, we try to find ways to, last night Chicago had a chance. Well, they did seal the Central Division title, and our goal was to not let that happen on our watch. Obviously, we didn't achieve that goal, but we try and find a little bit of, what's the importance of each game, especially when they announced that there weren't playoffs. And I think that we've got a group of guys in that room, a character group of guys that whether they're playoffs or not, professional mindset, professional attitude, that we still have a job to do. We've got the opportunity to come in every day and do something that we love. So whether they're playoffs or not, I think the guys just as a whole, our leadership group, training staff, coaching staff, I think we did a tremendous job of trying to keep these guys focused on the positives and not worrying about what there isn't to play for, but what there is to play for.
Okay, thank you.